Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol and welcome to this week's Midweek 180. Well, as you can see, I am at home again this week in my office. Slightly different view for you this week, and you will probably spot my bike next to me. Now, it's on a turbo trainer. You may well know if you follow me on social media, I am a bit of a keen cyclist, and I'm actually in training at the moment for a big sporting challenge in April. I'm going to be doing the Paris-Roubaix Sportif on the famous pavé cobbles, and I'm absolutely bricking it. So I will be sat on that for a good hour or so later on this afternoon. Anyway, if you've not seen one of these before, this is my midweek update where I bring you my news, views and information about upcoming reviews, all filmed in one take. I put 180 seconds in the bottom left hand corner of your screen, and that's it, a very simple format. So without further ado, let's get cracking with this week's midweek 180. I shall start my timer. Okay, the first comment last week was not Francois G. Woohoo! It was Mr. AJH1969. Anyway, whoever puts the first comment this week, I will give you a shout out next week. So let the battle royale commence. Where are you and what you're doing? Well, last week that was Dr. Joseph Blau, PhD, who was in Salzburg, Austria, watching his cat trying to catch animals in the snow. Very obscure. Anyway, where are you guys right now? What are you doing? And I will give you a shout out next week. Now, the question I asked last week was, if I had the RS4 and arranged a meet and greet at Goodwood, who'd be up for coming? And I have to say, I was quite taken aback by the amount of positive responses and people saying, we would love to come. So it's happening. I put a video out on Monday giving you all the details. I'll put a card above if you've not seen that so far. It is happening on Sunday, the 18th of February at 10:30 at Goodwood Motor Circuit at the old control tower. Just watch the video that I've just put a link to, and that gives you all the details you know. Completely free to enter. And as I've said, I've promised to buy everybody who turns up a tea or a coffee or a cold drink, whichever you'd prefer. I might well regret that, but hopefully we've got some really cool cars coming and an interesting selection of people. I cannot wait to get to meet you guys. When you turn up, don't forget, tell me your channel name is so I know who you are and I can kind of start to put faces to names. And a simple question this week is, who's coming? Put down below if you're coming or not. Anyway, new car news. I got a press release just this morning actually about the new Renault Megane RS. There's a picture for you. Now this comes out later this year and it's got some really, really interesting stuff that I think will spice up the hot hatch market really well. So firstly, unique to class, first car in this type of class. It's going to have four-wheel steering, which is normally something you only find on really high-end kind of performance supercars. It's going to have the world's most powerful 1.8 engine, producing 280 bhp, 390 newton meters of torque. It's going to either have a 6-speed manual or an optional twin clutch gearbox. Renault are going to call this the efficient dual clutch gearbox, EDC. And to start with, there are going to be two chassis options, a Sport and a Cup. But there's going to be a trophy version of that by the end of the year, and that's going to have 300 horsepower and 400 newton meters of torque. So I think that is going to be a proper weapon. If you've ever driven a hot Megane before, they're absolutely brilliant things. Finally, last bit of sort of F1 news briefly. I just read yesterday, Fernando Alonso has signed up to not only race for McLaren in F1, but he's also going to be doing the World Endurance Championship with Toyota, all bar one race. And that means he's going to be racing at Le Mans, and he's going to be racing not just this year, but next year at Le Mans as well, which is really cool. And then finally, my video on Friday at 6 is the Porsche Panamera Sport Turismo e-hybrid. I've done it twice, 2 weeks running, I've hit my timer. I am going to talk a bit more though, because the car I drove yesterday, this Porsche Panamera, was one of the best cars I've driven in a long time. It was absolutely superb. Not only, I'll put some pictures up for it, not only did it look amazing, it had the spec to die for, but such an interesting car. I basically drove the e-hybrid version. So you see the film on Friday. it's kind of 3 cars in one, really. I pushed the boat out a little bit with the filming, so I spent a whole morning filming kind of some B-reel stuff, drive-bys and things. So hopefully, although it's not edited yet, hopefully it's going to be a really, really interesting film for you. And then very briefly, I don't know if you, for those of you who don't follow me on social media, you should do. I'll put my links below. Just search for Petrol on the various Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. I thought you might like to see this. So I got this for Christmas from Mrs. Petrol and I've only finished building it at the weekend. And if you haven't, I know a few of you have already had a go at this. It was an excellent build, such good fun. It's taken me about 14 or 15 hours probably to build that. And it was interesting. I put literally a comment on social media earlier this week saying, what should I build next? And then Bugatti and Lego are working together to build a Lego Technic Bugatti Chiron. It's apparently going to be around about August time it will hit the streets or hit the shops. And believe me, when it does, I'm going to go and get it and build it, because these are just phenomenal things to build. Fully functioning gearbox, steering, suspension, engine. You know, this certainly isn't for kids, but yeah, it's been great fun to build. So I thought you might like to see that. Anyway, enough's enough. I'm well over time. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. And I will see you on the next film. That is Friday at 6 o'clock for the Porsche Panamera Sport Turismo e-hybrid. Nice, short, snappy name for a car, that. But anyway, you take care, guys. Drive safe.